going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and we're here to preview Tna Sacrifice. Now, it doesn't feel like that long ago we were talking about TNA, and now we're talking about TNA again. And I guess this is going to kind of become the regular thing. As you guys know, when I talk about WWE pay-per-views, I always have to go in there with the caveat of I'm recording it before SmackDown, so anything that happens on SmackDown, anything that gets added on SmackDown isn't going to be in the preview because I'm doing it in advance. For these Friday night pay-per-views, I guess, because they're not the main ones, I get it, and it's a different thing. It's something I gotta figure out in my scheduling. It's gonna kind of be the same thing, because I gotta record these on Wednesday nights so I can get them to you on Thursday so that I can at least get them circulating a little bit. So I have to go into this with the same kind of idea. I'm recording this on Wednesday. Obviously, you guys are getting this Thursday morning, so clearly I haven't seen the TNA Impact that's going to take place tonight. This is happening in Canada, which is a nice bonus. It's happening Friday night, running up against SmackDown. Now, the last time, 2 weeks ago, I had to watch a show, watch SmackDown, sleep for 5 minutes, and then watch the Elimination Chamber. This past weekend, and we're going to get into this more later, I went to Destiny's Carnage show here in Mississauga. And that was a lot of fun. As I say, I'm going to get into that a lot later. And then I came home and I watched the Revolution pay-per-view. Yep, I did that instead of sleep because I'm smart, and it was totally worth it, guys. Totally worth it. Big eye roll that you can't see because we're in an audio platform. But anyways, it'll be nice for me to be able to focus a little bit more on this one because I won't be getting up 3 hours later to watch another pay-per-view. And like I say, the fact that it's in Canada, it's not close enough for me that I could have gone. As most of you guys know, I don't drive, so I stick to shows that are in the immediate GTA. So there's that. But I hope they're coming back to Toronto. I got to talk to George Iceman, who's now the manager of Ash by Elegance, at the Destiny show on Sunday. And when I asked him, hey, can we get Impact on regular TV? Can we get some more stuff in Toronto? And not to be sort of spooky and mysterious, but all I got out of him was a wait and see, pay attention, that kind of thing. And I got to congratulate him because I think he's a really cool guy, and seeing him now in this TV role with Ash by Elegance is super fucking cool. So continued congratulations to George Iceman. Let's get into the card. There's only 6 matches announced right now. I'm sure there will be more added. I'm sure there'll be some kickoff matches added at some point, probably later tonight. We're finally getting Nick Nemeth versus Steve Maclin. Now, we know what this was. Nemeth came in, he stood face-to-face with Moose, but then he said, I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm not going to be one of those jackasses that come in and inserts myself at the top. And he started at the bottom, took on Zachary Wentz. And the natural thing after that is, you're eventually going to take on Trey Miguel. And then he got face-to-face with Steve Maclin, who said, hey, basically, you're doing what I did 3 years ago, and got in his face and tried to punk him out. He quickly formed an alliance with the Rascals. Ziggler kind of sort of formed an alliance with Speedball Mountain, who are not on this pay-per-view at all, which is a real bummer. But, so they fought, the tag teams fought, and Steve Maclin came out at the end with the chop block at the last pay-per-view that was really dirty looking. And Ziggler was nowhere to be found because he was off winning the TNA, or sorry, not the TNA, the IWGP Global Championship. Still don't really know what that means. I didn't know this, but apparently Steve Maclin attacked him while he was at a World Wrestling Council show in Puerto Rico, and then when he was in New Japan, he sent in a video to Impact challenging Maclin to a match at Sacrifice. So here we are, here we stand. Now, Steve Maclin's a pretty cool guy to have. I'm going to have to get used to stop calling him Ziggler. For Nick Nemeth to go against as the first sort of step on the way. Ziggler's going to have a lot of matches with a lot of cool people along the way before he gets himself to Moose, I can see him having some respectful matches with like guys like the Motor City Machine Guns and Josh Alexander and stuff like that. And then he'll face some dicks somewhere along the way, much like Steve Macklin. But I think it's kind of cool that his first real feud was Steve Macklin. Steve Macklin is going to be the first step to him getting towards Moose, but also the Rascals individually were his steps to getting to Macklin, who was his first step to getting to Moose. I'm jumping into TNA again as a whole, but I'm really specifically looking at this this story here as the sort of the I used to be Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, growing from the ground up story, and I am looking at it. This isn't even a dig at AEW. I am looking at it from the perspective of two really, really underutilized guys in Nick Nemeth and Mustafa Ali, who we're going to talk about later, as guys that were let go from WWE who pretty universally it was decided that they were underutilized in WWE and didn't immediately go to AEW, like they went somewhere else. Ziggler, as a story going in TNA right now, he's going to get himself to Moose eventually, and he went to IWGP and got whatever the global championship is. Mustafa Ali has done the other way around. He came in at the top. He did the exact opposite of what Ziggler said. He came in, and within TNA, he's already got himself a championship. At some point on Nemeth's rise to face Moose, he's going to go up against Mustafa Ali for that X Division championship, and that's going to be awesome. Nick Nemeth's winning this match. Steve Macklin is going to go in there and be wrestling's version of the Punisher, and it's going to be awesome. I do predict, because neither team is on the card, Speedball Mountain and the Rascals are going to get involved in this at some point, but I think it's going to be more, because we've been waiting for the singles match, I think it's going to be more or less to chase each other off, if that makes any sense. Nemeth is going to win. He's going to hit the Danger Zone. I love that he's calling it the Danger Zone now, because he's still got DZ somewhere in his lexicon, which is really good. I think this match could steal the show. Maybe, just saying. Well, this or one other match are going to steal the show. ABC are defending the tag team titles against the System, represented by Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. I'm assuming Alicia Edwards is going to be in their corner as well. ABC need to win this. ABC need to stick with tag teams, not the two lower members of this faction that still really doesn't make that much sense. Eddie Edwards is a great wrestler, don't get me wrong. Brian Myers is Matt Cardona's friend, and they're all following around Moose like little puppy dogs, and I don't want them to be tag team champions. I just don't. I like the ABC. They've got stuff to do with other teams like Speedball Mountain, like the Rascals, like I don't know, throw in anybody else. I mean, even have a sort of a jokey feud with the Good Hands if you want to. Grizzled Young Veterans, they just did the best of three with them. So to go through the best of three and come out on top against the Grizzled Young Veterans, who are another set of brand new talents to TNA, and then to have the tag team titles absorbed into this bigger System story as a cog in the wheel rather than a focal point would be a big misservice. And I'm sorry, as I say, respect to Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards for the wrestlers that they are, but ABC are way more entertaining, are they not? So I'm going to go with the ABC on this one. We're going to get a rematch from Hard to Kill, and I went into Hard to Kill, and I said, okay, I'm going to have Josh Alexander in a match. I've seen way more of Josh Alexander than I have seen of pretty much anybody else on TNA's roster because of Destiny. Yes, check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list. It's fine. But he was taking on Alexander Hammerstone, who I'd never heard of before and who wasn't in the company. It was like an open challenge type of thing, to the best of my recollection. And then I saw the dude. And I'm like, this guy's a brick shithouse. I want to see more of this guy. Josh Alexander beat him. And then a couple of weeks ago, it was announced that Alexander Hammerstone has actually been hired by TNA. They need to figure out a little cliche. Like, it's not like AEW when they do the Alexander Hammerstone is all elite. Like, they don't quite have that kind of thing. But Alexander Hammerstone has signed with Josh Alexander, and they're getting a rematch, and it's going to be awesome. Now, I would say that Hammerstone picks up a win and maybe evens the playing field, and then they have a third, and it's like a best-of-3 match or that type of thing. But I don't think Josh Alexander needs to lose right now. He just finished beating the crap out of Alan Angels, and I don't really know what that accomplished, to be perfectly... No dig at Alan Angels, but I don't know what that achieved for Josh Alexander. It came out around the same time as the Scott D'Amore thing, which still hoping everybody in the company's cool. I know a lot of people were upset about the Scott D'Amore thing, but at the same time that TNA had taken an option to extend Josh Alexander for another year. And to this point, I'm not really too much of a reporter guy. You guys know that. The best you get out of me is, hey, here's a news thing. Here's what I think of it. I still don't know whether that was initiated by Josh Alexander or by the company, but if you made the choice to extend his contract, do something big with him. Do something huge with him. Josh Alexander versus Nick Nemeth has to happen at some point. Josh Alexander versus Mustafa Ali has to happen at some point, because those are two matches that, title or not, could main event a pay-per-view, in my personal opinion. Because I want to push this to a third and I want to keep them kind of even from a creative perspective, I would say Hammerstone this time, but at the same time, I'm a walking weapon guy, so if he wins, then I'm going to be just as happy. Hammerstone immediately impressed. I mean, it's hard to have a bad match with Josh Alexander as well. Let's put that out there. But he impressed me so immediately that he made me think of Obafemi's debut in NXT. Now, Obafemi's a new guy. He just went in the breakout tournament and all that kind of thing. And then he made a meal out of Dragon Lee and immediately picked up the North American Championship. That's a slightly different path than just, here's Josh Alexander, the wrestling machine, and perfect guy to show me this new guy. Immediately impressed, immediately got to the end of that match and said, okay, want to see more of that guy. Want to see more of this match, quite frankly. And that's what we're going to get, except this time around, Hammerstone is actually a part of the TNA roster, which is a lot of fun. Time Machine is another tag team that I should have mentioned before when I was talking about people who could be going for those tag team titles. But Time Machine, in this scenario, is Chris Sabin, along with Kushida, along with Kevin Knight. I don't know where Alex Shelley is. I don't know. Big shrug emoji. And they're taking on Mustafa Ali and the Good Hands. This is off the back, obviously, of Mustafa Ali debuting at the last pay-per-view in the main event for a championship. The first time since the Unbreakable Triple Threat in 2005. Somebody correct me down in the box below if I'm wrong. Big, nice, history-making thing. They presented him like a star. I do think that because the Good Hands are played off as kind of being goobers, and right now they're playing the character of MAGA idiots to Mustafa Ali's Donald Trump, which is a really weird set of words that I just said right there. I do think this is where Time Machine sort of get their win back. This is a way for Chris Sabin to get a win back on Mustafa Ali, but keep the X Division title on Mustafa Ali. I think this is going to be amazing. As I say, I'm still getting to know Kevin Knight, who's somebody that I still am not that familiar with. Big fan of Kushida, big fan of Chris Sabin, like I say. With no disrespect to Kevin Knight, but if this was Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, and Kushida, it would be a team that I'm just that much more invested in. And Mustafa Ali is great. Now, going to take a huge detour here back to the world of Destiny. And speaking of Mustafa Ali, because Mustafa Ali came as... He wasn't getting a title shot, and he wasn't giving a title shot, but he was the marquee attraction for Destiny's Carnage show that was back on Sunday. He took on Gabriel Fuerza, who is one of the most popular guys at Destiny right now. My indie that I go to in Mississauga, just outside Toronto, for those of you unaware. They put on... And, I mean, Ali was in character, and Fuerza had, like, the entire Don Kolov arena behind him. They put on probably one of the best matches I've seen so far this year. Whether it's on television, in person, or any mix of the two. Match was super fucking good. After the match, Mustafa Ali broke character a little bit, put over Gabriel Fuerza, told him that they're going to fight again at some point. You know, I don't know where, I don't know when, but you and I are going to fight again, and maybe I'll put this on the line type thing, tapping his belt. We're definitely going to get that again. And I got to talk to Mustafa Ali for a couple minutes, got a photo. If you follow me on Twitter, you've seen the photos. I got pictures of both of them, and I'm like, hey, I just saw these guys fucking kill it in the ring. Aren't I a knob? Look at me with my goofy smile. Hey, it's all good. But, and Mustafa Ali is just a generally cool dude. I congratulate him. I told him I popped at the last pay-per-view when he won the belt. And he was just a really chill guy to talk to for a minute or two. Put on a, like I say, if you don't know Gabriel Fuerza, if they put it on YouTube, because Destiny does put a lot of their stuff on YouTube, I will share it with you guys. I will come up and I will make a separate post, and I will say, here's Gabriel Fuerza and Mustafa Ali. Here's the match I was talking to you guys about. Watch it. You will hear me in the front row being an obnoxious jackass because Destiny is awesome like that. But it is worth the watch. Normally, like I would say to you guys, if I was reviewing an NXT pay-per-view, and I know not everybody watches NXT, I'd say, hey guys, hop on your WWE network, go back and watch this match, it's worth it type of thing. I will, when it makes it to YouTube, I will share that link with you guys. I think this match is worth watching. Even if you don't know who Gabriel Fuerza is, even if you're not in my local area and you're not familiar with Destiny, it's still a match worth watching. Now, the fun part about all this, and here's where it ties into all kinds of wrestling news, is the next time I go to a Destiny show, it's actually going to be in downtown Toronto, and one of the main events is Gabriel Fuerza along with his tag team partner Von Vertigo. Von Vertigo had an amazing match with Trent Seven and almost became the Destiny champion. The two of them are teaming up with Alexia Nicole, who a bunch of you might have seen on Dark or Dark Elevation the last time AEW came to Toronto. She's awesome as well. The three of them are teaming up to take on TNA's Subculture, which is Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews and Danny Luna. That's what I'm going to next. You know what's on that same show? Trent Seven, our current Destiny champion and TNA superstar, taking on Mike Santana. Heard this news, thought this news was really cool, got the news the next day that he'd been let go from AEW, so I'm like, oh, alright, so that's a mixed bag of information. So, as I say, I end up talking about Destiny a lot when I talk to you guys about TNA/Impact back in the day, because the ties between me going to a Destiny show and me talking to you guys about a TNA pay-per-view are all over the place. As I said, once again, Gabriel Fuerza versus Mustafa Ali. Once that match is available anywhere on the internet, I'm going to share it with you guys because it was fucking fantastic. And if you look in your top left-hand side of your screen, when you get that feed or when I get that YouTube video to share with you guys, you will see my ass out there being absolutely obnoxious. Not as obnoxious as I was in the main event, like I say, Von Vertigo versus TNA's Trent Seven, who is still our Destiny champion, and there's me and a couple other people around me trying to kick him in the shin over for reasons. If you're in the GTA or if you're coming to the GTA, come to a Destiny show. This is my free plug for them. Anyways, going back to what we're actually talking about here, Time Machine is going to beat Mustafa Ali in the good hands, and then Chris Sabin's going to get himself a rematch, and we'll see where we go from there. That's my prediction. Jordynne Grace is defending her women's championship against Tasha Steelz and Xia Brookside. Now, how did we get to this? Tasha Steelz and Xia Brookside had a win each. They had a rubber match. They decided to make it a number one contenders match, and they brawled to a no contest, so Jordynne Grace said, fuck it, I'll fight both of you. Jordynne Grace ain't losing this match. I'm at the point now with Jordynne Grace and the way, not only the way she carries her championship, but the way she carries herself as champion. The next time she drops that title, I'm going to be looking around and scouring the dirt sheets to see if there's anything about her losing the company, leaving the company rather. I don't think there's any reason to take it off of her. Really don't. She's really good. Tasha Steelz and Xia Brookside are great. I don't think there's really a bad guy in this. I mean, Tasha Steelz got an attitude on her. Xia Brookside is, I guess, marketed as wrestling's angel, which is interesting. I'm not sure what that's actually a reference to, if I'm completely honest. And Jordynne Grace is a monster. And I mean that in the most flattering way possible. I really do. She's impressive. As I've said multiple times before, I wouldn't fuck with Jordynne Grace. She would stow me safely in the overhead compartment. But yeah, Jordynne Grace is winning this. I have no doubt whatsoever. And then Moose taking on Eric Young. Excuse me, guys. Moose taking on Eric Young. Eric Young beat Kazarian at the last show in a match that I didn't even really know about when I did the preview for that show, let alone the fact that it was a #1 contenders match. He's got stuff with Frankie Kazarian. They're playing off this TNA Originals rivalry, which is leading me to believe that Eric Young's going to be kind of screwed here. It's going to be the ultimate hometown guy loses in the main, I think. Eric Young's awesome. He, the world-class maniac has that name for a reason. His new entrance is awesome, but Moose has a faction behind him, and by the time we get to the main event, they might be tag team champions, even though I've got my feelings on that, as I've already said. But I mean, Moose is a beast in his own right. He should be killing people. I will say, they did the Asylum match on NXT last night, and when I looked in the cage and I saw that there was a door there instead of a table, I think back to one of my first ever Destiny shows. Yes, check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list once again. It's absolutely fine. And that was Moose, my first time seeing Moose taking on our own hardcore Channing Decker, and that's when the first time I saw a door being used, and I thought the door was so cool, because the door, whereas a table crunches, a door pops, and it has this really high-pitched pop when you go through it. So I got a lot of respect for Moose. It's nothing against him. This faction, that this ragtag bunch of guys that seem like they've came from everywhere, I still don't get it. Whatever it is that they're trying to be as a group, other than we're just a bunch of assholes, so we're going to make sure we win. If there's something beyond that, I'm still not quite getting it yet. It's a team full of individually talented people. As a group, as a unit, I still don't get it. And maybe that's on me. Now, the other side of that coin is Eric Young is taking on Moose, who's a giant, who should probably kill him on his own, who also has a faction behind him, who also has Frankie Kazarian, who's walking around with that, this isn't over till I say it's over vibe about him. So, the funny thing is, while I talk about the system, and while I talk about how I don't fucking get it, and maybe it's on me, Moose might not even need the system, because Kazarian might come in and fuck him over. And then they'll have another awesome match like they had at the beginning of the last show. If they push the Eric Young Kazarian feud enough and it gets bloodthirsty enough, I could see this as being one of those legacy feuds that supersedes the title shot on a particular pay-per-view. Maybe not. Ultimately, I think we got our hearts broken in the main event in Canada. The proud Canadian loses, and you know what? That's fine. It is what it is. I would love to, like I said, I don't want to get repetitive here. I would love to see Eric Young with that belt. I just would. The amount of respect I have for that guy when I see the recordings of him, whipping people up before the show starts and empowering not only himself but the roster and the company and the fans that have followed the company for so long. I've got that real life. I want something good for this guy mixed with I just like crazy characters in wrestling. So I want him to win. I'm pretty sure he's not going to win. And the heartbreak of that will play out as it should. So, to run it down once again, Nick Nemeth is going to beat Steve Macklin, I think. I hope the ABC beat the system. Pretty sure Hammerstone's going to even the score with Josh Alexander. Time Machine are going to beat Mustafa Ali in the good hands. Jordynne Grace and her title aren't going anywhere. And I think Moose is going to keep his championship as well. I don't think it'll be a particularly newsworthy pay-per-view, but that's not a bad thing either. Just give us what it says on the tin on the night. There are other shows. Again, I'm going to go back to NXT's special last night, which was Roadblock. And Roadblock, the elevated episodes of NXT have to both give you the show on the night and set up for the next bigger show. It has to serve two purposes at once. If this is just here's the card, here's the matches we've got, we hope you like them, and I think a lot of them are going to be awesome. I do think Nemeth and Macklin and Alexander and Hammerstone are probably going to steal the show, if I'm completely honest, but look at the talent they're in and around. That's a hell of a statement in and of itself. I do hope we get some TNA in Toronto soon, because I'd love to go back to TNA. I was at the last Impact pay-per-view. I'd like to go to my first TNA pay-per-view. As much as that's just a change in name has done something to this company, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying talking about it with you guys. It gives me a little something different to talk about, other than WWE, since I don't cover AEW anymore. They've got a shiny new stage tonight, guys. Are you excited? Anyways, hope you guys have liked this. Hope you guys have got your own opinions. Please throw them down in the box below. I hope you guys are enjoying the fact that I've hopped back on the TNA bandwagon on this channel as well. If you are going to be at the show, throw your comments down in the box below. If you're in the GTA and you were at the show that I was at this past Saturday, the Destiny Carnage show, put your thoughts on that show in the comment section below as well, considering every TNA podcast I do references back to Destiny in some way, shape, or form. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but right now I am tagging out. Bye, guys.